people quickly. He is dominant. When I bent down or kneeled down to assess what he would do, he did the whole over the shoulders head. This would be a dog you don't want to push. The chance of him actually biting you is not high. It's more going to be a nip, a nip, a nip. If you approach him the wrong way, deal with him the wrong way, that's going to induce that fear, bite, 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 bite. So basically if I'm leaning down like this, he doesn't notice me. I can do a lot to him. He doesn't seem to care a whole lot. But if I were to start leaning over and petting his head, start petting his head, start doing almost like an assessment, petting him, kind of feeling him out like I would my own dog, he's probably going to be like, no, I don't know you well enough. With these kind of dogs, which is the majority of the dogs we're going to bring out, we want to build a relationship. First and foremost, we don't want to do any training yet, because if I start working with him, forcing him to do stuff, he's going to lose respect for me super, super quick. All of his body language is confident and dominant. All of it. There is no fear, there is no I don't know. If you notice this, he'll focus on people. And this would be the dog, if you approach him like this, he's going to be like, no. And he's going to growl, he's going to bark, he's going to carry on. When I approach him, me and him don't have issues. There is no problem. I can do a lot of working with him without him freaking out on me.
He seems a little like your dog.
A little bit, yep, that confident status.
He's just very...
And notice you're talking, he zones in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put this dog with kids. He's too noticeable. Anytime any one of you guys moves or makes a noise, he zones and focuses. And that tail wagging, that's not happy, that's what are you going to do next? Again, sitting, this isn't well behaved. This is who's going to challenge what I'm going to do, and what are you going to do when I do it.
See, how would you know that though? Because I think, oh, he's kind of...
It's a lot of practice and a lot of studying, but this right here is not, I want a hug. Even he could walk up and wag his tail at you and be like, hey, what's up? And, and that's where we don't want to do it. Because again, if I went to hug this dog, he'd be like, what are you doing? You have no right to do that to me. Yes?
He seems to be shaking a bit about his nervousness then?
It's not nerves, it's I'm trying to judge what's happening.
Okay.
He's not a nervous dog at all.
Okay, so he's just like,
Yep, I mean, we brought him in here from a kennel with a room full of people, and he watches every single person. He's like, what are you going to do next? A lot of the time we wonder about like abuse and everything. This dog I don't see as abused. This dog is just a naturally confident, naturally, I'm going to do what I want to do. And if I were to start forcing him sit, 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 he's going to be like, what are you doing? And that is going to be a bite. Same with like if I were going to try and like clean his ears or look at his teeth. If I were going to do anything that was in his space, he's going to look at me like, who gives you the right to do that to me? Even petting him right now, he's not caring a whole lot. But again, I'm not caring on him either. I'm not encroaching in his space. He's way more concerned about what each one of you are doing, because he's like, why are you staring at me? Why are you looking at me? What are you doing? And I think I should probably care. I have no meaning to him right now at all. And right there, that sniffing, I don't want him sniffing me. I'm not going to do it to you, so don't do it to me. I'm not sniffing you, don't sniff me. We're not going to play that game. Also, I'm guessing a lot of you were taught the whole stick your hand out in front of the dog. Number one, you don't want to ever do. You don't want to ever walk up to a dog like this, like this. You don't want to ever present a body piece to them. That's aggressive. I don't know why, I don't know who in their right mind thought to make up that idea.
The dogs think we're being aggressive?
Yep, because we're leaning over like this. We're like, oh, we're presenting, you can smell me. He smelled me before I walked into the kennel. He smells each and every one of you. He does not need your hand stuck in his face to smell. They have incredible smelling. He doesn't need that.
What about last week, though, when we worked with your dog and when we came up to make friends, we were turned sideways and we did that?
That's the turn sideways.
That's a different thing.
Totally different. Again, we're going to have a few people just approach this one because he's a really good learning dog on. You're not going to get bit or anything like that. We're going to keep control. If a few people you want to approach how we did Nico, first approach just normal like a person, and then we're going to do this to the side thing. Yes.
So he just yawned. Is he confused now?
Stress.
Confusion.
It's a stress. It's stress.
Okay.
When we had him out in the run, he snapped his jaws. He yawned and snap, snap, snap. That's not stress. That's what are you going to do? I'm going to show you my teeth, and we're going to kind of play. Dogs show their teeth not just by snapping, but by yawning and kind of licking and being like, hey, pay attention. Yep, right there. That is all. He's showing me that, okay, we're friends. This is fine, but I can't push myself on him. The more I spend time with him not caring about him, the more he's going to trust me and be like, okay, we could probably be friends, and then we start doing the, okay, I have rules, you have to obey them. Again, I don't want him by me. I don't want him to have that choice to come up to me. you stay there, I'll stay here. I know it's hard because he's really cute, and a lot of us are like, I just want to pet you. And a lot of us probably have. We want to notice he's staring. All of this, he's like, what are you doing? I don't think I like it. And that's where the defensive handling, you don't come over to me. When we did have him in the play yard, he came up, he put his head over me, very dominant status. Good boy. And then this is that submission, kind of starting to understand what I want. Again, if I push myself on him, he's going to reverse backwards and be like, no, we're not doing that.
anything except ignoring him.
With him sniffing you, is that him being dominant to you
No.
by smelling you? You just don't want him in your space?
I just don't want him in my space.
Okay.
This is my space. You were not given the opportunity to be in my space. I can't be in yours, don't be in mine.
Okay.
We don't need dogs to be
Ignoring
cuddly
thing.
with us.
Okay.
Dogs learn in completely different ways. If you ever watch dog-on-dog interaction, they do it a lot like what I'm doing with him. That's what he understands. Also, he's a marker. We want to be sure when we're walking him out, no chance. You don't get to mark on anything. It's no, 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 no. Automatically. Notice he doesn't like that. He's like, what are you doing again?
This dog had no training in his previous home.
No. But he's a really good dog to work on with because he's very raw, very fresh. And he shows all the really good signs of it.
Yeah, he tried to mark both of us.
Yeah.
And so you
Like, come on.
We always try to
Stop.
walk the hallway too. If you don't walk quick enough, you'll always be on that corner.
Is that a domination thing?
Oh, yeah.
The marking?
That's I own you. It's like, no, you don't. I'm sorry. I'm my own person.
I'm gonna go where I want to go.
And again, this is more watch what I'm kind of doing. This is all that dominant behavior. My hand is always above his head. I keep his head up. I don't want him to be able to go down low. He doesn't like it at all. He's like, why are you, I don't like this. You can see every part of him. He has never once lost confidence. This would be a dog, again, if I encroached, he might nip. He's not going to actually physically bite me and clamp though, which is the good part of it. You don't have to be afraid of, he's good to learn on. He's super dominant, but he's a smaller dog, so he's less intimidating anyways. For practicing, this is like the perfect dog to practice those behaviors on. Great. So whoever wants to kind of walk up, again, just walk up normal to him first, and then walk away. Just to kind of watch his interaction with you. Just don't pet him. Right there.
Confidence, Brad, confidence.
Okay. What should I have done?
Okay. That was fine.
I was
When you
trying to
turn
turn
around,
sides.
you don't want to turn around from the dog and give them that opportunity.
So you want to back up?
You want to back up. If they're freaking out like this,
Oh.
just back up.
I was trying to turn sideways.
And that, when he's in this state, the sideways is submission for him. He doesn't care. He's like, that's my opportunity to get you. And eye contact, all of that kind of stuff. So go just walk past him, be insignificant to him. Don't want to pay attention to him at all. And notice he walked away. He gets the chance to go forward. Okay, so just kneel down. Don't pay any attention to him. And just ignore. You can kneel and be comfortable. And don't encroach on him. Just sit there and go ahead and kneel down. You don't want to be... Notice I'm not dominant. I'm very relaxed. It's fine. And right here, notice how he backed himself into a corner. I'm sorry, what is your first name?
Brad.
I'm horrible at names, just by the way. With his, if you were to start walking up to him, even to get a leash on, he's going to continue that rar, 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 rar attitude.
He's the one dog I haven't been able to walk back there. Because he's been like this.
And just, like I said, and the whole hunched over still. Totally relaxed, straighten out your back. Still, even when we're presenting ourselves to them, we want to be super relaxed, again, it's a confidence thing on my own part. Dealing with him, he didn't bark and growl at me, but I don't want to be over like this to him, because that's a dominant thing to him. No, now he doesn't care. It's not as much of a fear thing. And then this would be where I would, with Brad, if I were Brad, again, I would have two people. You want to have two people with some of these dogs for safety reasons. With Brad, just go in a room, a quiet room, and just sit. And don't pay attention to him. The first time we took him out, I didn't touch him. I'm like, I don't need to touch you, you don't need to touch me. That's it.
Sometimes does it matter if you're, if it's a male?
Sometimes it does. He's a male too. It is a dominant status. Any trainer, like professional trainer you meet, normally the dog they have is the opposite sex. All the time, always. Males normally work females. Females normally work males. It's a respect thing. I don't know why. I very seldom meet a trainer that chooses a dog of the same sex as them. Just for, they don't click as well. So it is that. At the same time.
Does it matter if I'm, so it seems like a lot of dogs out here, it's more they're leery of males.
Males are A, they're taller normally. B, they have broader shoulders. They look more dominant.
Okay.
Brad, compared to me, he looks 10 times more dominant and threatening than I do.
And that's
Automatically.
the reaction I'm getting. Right.
Yep, and that's what it is. That's why you want to hold yourself confident. I've dealt with some really, really aggressive dogs. Luckily, I haven't been bit yet, knock on wood. It's probably going to happen at some point because I'm going to meet that one dog. But I'm always super confident, calm. Even when they're snapping at me, it's like, I don't care. That's fine. You can snap at me. When I've worked with dogs that, when you test them out, they'll come up. Normally, they come up and they just touch you. They don't ever go beyond that. Sometimes you'll have a dog that does. Ross that we're going to bring out, he would be the dog that would go above that. This dog probably isn't going to. He wants space. He doesn't want you by him. He wants space. He's confident enough to do it. Some dogs are going to cower and be like, no, I don't care. No, I don't care.
So when
Leave me
he
alone.
jumped up on him, was that because he thought he was prey?
He was leaving. Nope, it was, yeah, you better leave. You better run and leave. Which is why you don't ever want to turn.
So he acted real brave all of a sudden, like.
Yep.
You
His
won.
back was turned, so yes, I chased you off.
Yeah.
You better run and leave. Which again, we showed with Nico, the minute you turned your back,
Mm-hmm.
game on. We don't want to turn our back with them. And just ignore them. Don't, okay, you're kind of stressed. You took a deep breath. You want to be super, super relaxed and confident. Now, because I'm the handler on him, I do not want to pull him back. The minute I pull him back, I provide stress, he's going to lunge forward. So he went up and sniffed Brad on his own accord. As long as Brad doesn't move, he's going to be fine.
What would you have done if you would have tried to mark?
If you would have marked,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like
That's
that
what
hustling?
that's where you do
That's
pull back, but
cute.
that's not, you're going to be able to tell.
Okay.
He went up and sniffed.
He
he
knows
leaned
that
in.
you're pulling back.
Yeah,
You
he
did
knows
it.
that he did something wrong. Then again, when I met him, we started off on the right track. Like I said, I could probably do a lot of corrections to him before he actually tried to do anything to me.
We can do any introducing dogs to each other.
Yeah, we'll do that probably next week. We'll probably do that next. I don't want to throw everything at you guys right away.
Yeah.
Okay, notice now he is relying on me a little bit more. This isn't dominant. This is, okay, maybe we can be friends, but we're going to defeat all these other people together. You don't get to rely on me to beat up all the other people.
He has no interest in me, right? He just doesn't want to check me out, right?
Nope. He doesn't want anything to do with you. You don't want anything to do with him. And that's the best way to
So
go about.
Is he relaxed with me then?
Nope, he's not relaxed. He's
Oh.
weary.
Okay.
But he doesn't feel threatened. He
He
doesn't
doesn't
feel like
feel
I need to
threatened.
bark and bark and bark at you.
So
Unless he marked his
even-
territories, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a line. Don't cross it.
Yep.
Yeah, it kind of stinks, buddy.
Yeah. Okay, so you can go ahead and sit down, and then we'll bring out another person. Try and stay away from that. Hopefully, we can get like spray or something.
I can do it.
Okay. So go ahead, just walk
Oh,
up.
no, I get this.
Oh, perfect. That works. Whoever wants to meet him
Are we
next.
just going like normal people?
Yep, walk
Or
up
are we-
normal,
Okay.
just to kind of show the difference out of it.
I wasn't sure which way. Let's go out.
But notice there is not a whole lot of fear. This is a super confident
Mm-hmm.
behavior. This is not a fear. This is not friendly.
Probably right behind you.
Go ahead and spray that really quick.
So how would you, and maybe this, I'm asking this too soon, but how do you suggest that they do an exam on him, check his teeth, check
I wouldn't
to
do
see
it
if
yet. I would
Okay.
let 2 or 3 people work with him.
he's- Okay.
Like I said, he would probably let, at this point, just how we started out, he would probably let me do a lot with him. But it would have to be someone that started out fresh with him. There is no, I'm not stressing you out, you're not stressing me out, we're fine. We can be friends. This is not a big deal. Which is why he's relying on me now more. He's like, okay, I don't know what any of these people are doing, but I understand where me and him stand. So
Right.
he's like, that's fine.
Okay.
And again, I can pull him around. He's not even noticing that I'm here. I can pet him. He's like, whatever, that's fine. Again, I don't want him too close to me, even if I am petting him.
Never want to let your guard down
No.
completely.
Nope, he's being friendly towards me. You still don't get, I get to pet you now. You don't get to come up to me.
Okay.
Right now he hears the dog whining, but
What's the purpose of your petting now?
dominance. I can pet you. I can do that to you.
So it's not about friendliness.
No.
You're petting him because
No, a lot of the time I don't even act friendly towards them. I adore dogs, but I do it from a training standpoint.
so this is showing him that
I'm allowed to do it.
I'm allowed to do this.
Yep, I'm allowed to do this to you. You have to be okay. Again, he has to understand what I'm doing first. If I were to walk into his kennel and be like, hi, puppy, 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 and make a bunch of noise, he's going to be like, who are you? Again, who are you to do this? He still would nip me at this point. When I do lean over him, notice how he goes up. He doesn't quite follow through, but he would nip me at this point still.
Is it okay to make, I mean, not like, hey, no, but like, is it okay to talk to him alone and be like, hey? Yeah, okay.
When we had him out there, I talked to him.
Okay,
Depending,
so
I
I'm
let
so
it.
used to, like,
At first, I was totally quiet.
Okay.
Totally quiet at first. I want to assess what you're gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna see how you're gonna behave first.
All right.
That's gonna adjust my tone. Am I gonna be like, hey, knock it off? Or hey, it's okay, you're okay.
Okay. I mean,
I don't
wanna
remember what
run
he
into
was.
it.
I think we just kind of went into it because he's a dominant dog,
Mhm.
but he's not super dominant, aggressive right now,
Yeah.
which is a nice thing. And notice, she's sitting there, but he's like, I'd rather sit over here.
But now she's looking at him.
I was
Does
looking at her.
Nope, and you can glance. I
Oh, you
mean,
can?
at some point you are going to look at the dog. You
I
have
think
to.
you just don't want to like stare him down.
I don't want to be like this and staring eye contact. Eye contact. He's gonna be like, why?
You don't necessarily have to look away.
Nope. You don't have to be like, oh, don't be skittish with them. Because again, he's like, okay, well, I win. If I were to start going like this, he's like, okay, I can do whatever I want to you. And again, you don't touch me. I can touch you. You don't get to come touch me. Even if you're nervous, we still have to build up that relationship where maybe you can come cuddle with me.
Look, he's checking.
So what did that do when he was like kind of like, hey bud, to her? When
Still, he noticed her finally. He's like, oh, chance to be dominant. Every time he gets a chance, he will take a chance to be dominant. Notice my hand over him, and that would be that nipping.
So this would not be a great family dog.
No.
This would be a single person. I just want a pet. I don't really go to a bunch of family reunions. I don't have kids running around. I don't plan on having kids in the future. Possibly an older person without grandkids. That kind of family, but you wouldn't want a bunch of activity with him.
But you don't want to put him in the first time dog owner.
No.
Either.
Nope, you want to be super careful. Someone with breed experience, a Spitz breed. So if they've had Spitzes for a while, that would be good. Getting him into a foster home wouldn't be a horrible idea to get someone to work with his manners. Has to be a super experienced foster home that knows what they're doing. If you give him to a first-time dog owner, he's going to run them like no other. He will completely control their life.
This sounds like a high-maintenance breed.
It is. And he is, even though he's smaller, we don't always realize that smaller dogs can be dominant. This dog is like Nico. This dog is very confident. We brought him into a room with a ton of people, with a ton of noise. He still is not skittish. He's like, I'm still going to hold myself accountable. And right now, me and him are building this friendship. I could start to work with him a lot more. Because we started out right. He's worked this it's only the second time. But he's like, I understand what you want. I know exactly black and white what you are and what you cannot do. Again, I would still use my defensive handling. If I were to touch his face, we're going to be super defensive handling. Leash over here, all of that.
Is it significant now that he is, like the way he's lying, that he's touching you?
That is more of a stress, a fear, but notice my hand goes over him.
He's watching you.
He still wants to nip it. Right? And if I gave it to him, he would nip it.
He's not playing? That's not
Nope,
playing?
that's not play.
Okay.
And again, now you leaned into me too much. It was okay, we could touch shortly, but that was too much leaning. We're not going to do it.
I love that he thinks he's teaming up with you like against the world.
Yeah, right now, when that lean, he leaned up against me and stared at every single other person. He's like, okay, we're going to go get him. Let's go get him. He wants to touch me. He wants to team up with me. This is where his confidence is going to stream off more. It also brings an issue, because this could become protective. If someone else started to walk up to me, he could be like, no, stay away, mine. This would be a person-possessive dog, too, which with an elderly person, it would be a good idea to offer like classes, have them go to a class, to be like, hey, get control of them. This would be a dog I'd put a ton of obedience on, too. That helps bring down that confidence.
Was he neutered? Oh, he was looking.
Not yet. I don't know yet.
You can see if you can get a check out
Right?
They look pretty
Are they
nice.
nice and white? He's young? Okay.
But again,
Look at his ears for us.
notice how when I put my hand over to his face, though, that's for that nipping. So a medical exam, if you come up to him like that, he's going to become aggressive. I'm too much in his space, which is where if you tried to do a medical exam right now, he would start that.
So would you recommend having like one of our people who does medical stuff, spending time with him,
I would do a lot.
and then
of time.
having them doing the medical exam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And notice I'm not going to pull him back right now. I don't like that he's by her face. That makes me nervous. If
Yeah,
I were to
like me
pull him back, he might nip though. So you want it? I kept it tight. I kept it taut. I didn't pull him back and be like, oh no, because that stresses him. He's gonna be
If
like,
you
what
pull
is
him
wrong?
back, he'd nip her?
Yep.
Oh. How come?
Because I'm giving him a frustration. I'm giving him a barrier.
So if you were to slap a muzzle on this dog to do an exam, get his shots and everything in there, and like wrestle him down and do whatever you have to do to get it done, to get those shots
Yep.
and stuff into him, can you come back from that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can. You easily can. My dog is muzzled at the vet. I was actually telling Leslie I went to a vet that was a bad vet. They hovered over him. I asked him to muzzle him. He did bite the vet.
Oh no.
With stuff like that, if you have to get something done,
Mm-hmm.
muzzle a dog, just get it done quick.
Okay.
Be super quick. Don't talk to him. You don't want to associate yourself with them. You want to be very distant. So not be like, it's okay, and try and shove food in their face. If you're doing that, I need to get this stuff done now. Throw the muzzle on. Don't say anything. Just do it super quick and just get it done. Don't become friends with him right afterwards because he will hate you. He's going to be like, no, we are not friends. Put him back in his kennel. And just leave him alone at that.
With his, was he a surrender to us?
He was
Or
a,
stray?
they said he was a stray. Because I remember,
Because I thought that they said stuff about him not being good with men as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his kennel card said men, kids, and
women.
women.
Yeah, I think somebody else wrote women on
So
there.
I think I
That's all of them.
remember Barb telling me that they said he was a stray, or no, Don. And when they walked out, they
He
were
started
laughing
laughing.
like it was their dog.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well,
They
like
would
he's
have
the
to
one
surrender
that came around with me. Okay. And so I was like, it says he's not good with women, but I'm a lady. But then I was like, maybe I just look so mannish. He's like, I don't know, tall and short hair. Must be a dude. I didn't know.
I would
One
say
more-
it's probably the height.
Yeah.
Like how you know.
It's a dominant thing. People that look more dominant, which with me, I'm shorter and I'm a smaller build, so I have an advantage. I don't look dominant.
But he was good with me, and same with like Rasta was fine with me.
Yeah.
There's a few that.
It's a confidence thing. A lot of
Yeah.
people think, oh, dogs just naturally like me.
Mhm.
It's an energy thing. It's a confidence thing. I've never had a problem personally with most dogs. There's a few where I'm like, okay, we're going to stay super far away from each other, and we're not going to be friends right now.
Mhm.
But it's a confidence, it's a build, I'm not afraid of you. If you start becoming hesitant of them and afraid of them, that's when they're like, oh yeah. It's a personality build kind of thing.
And Carly has that too. She just ignores a dog's behavior.
Yep, and if you just ignore it, be like, no, let's just go.
Yeah.
We're done. I don't care. You can bark and growl at me and we're still going outside whether you like it or not. Again, you don't want to push a dog. You want to judge each dog fully first. Some dogs, I would not just leash and walk out because the chance of them actually being okay with that. Nico, if he was in a kennel and I wasn't here and you guys went up to get him and just did the leash and we're leaving, every single person would be bit. And it would be a bite. Just because he doesn't like, he's like, this is mine. This is my space. I'm possessive. This is all mine. And you're coming in my space. I don't like it.
Can I ask you, what effect does in approaching the dog when you have 14 other dogs barking? Does that complicate the game?
It
of
doesn't,
approaching?
because they're watching you. They hear those dogs all day. They don't care. They live with those dogs. That has nothing to do with them. It builds frustration. If they can't read what you're doing and the dog is barking and they don't know, it builds frustration. But like I said, if you do it, and we're going to go back when we take out Rasta and show the whole how to get the dog out of the kennel, because he does a perfect example of it. This one just kind of walked up to me and was like, okay, fine.
Wow.
Rasta does the whale eyes, the whole stretch out,
Yeah, he kind of.
which we just want to leash him. I'm not going to talk to him. The biggest thing, I know human nature, it's really hard for us. We're like, oh, it's okay. Come here, come here, come here. A, the high pitch is prey. So we're building that. B, they don't know what we're saying. They don't speak English as much as we want to believe that they do. They don't. They just want to be left alone for the most part. This dog wants nothing more than to be ignored. That's all he wants. And then to understand. But eventually, as he starts to understand, he's going to become more friendly and more noticeable. Again, sitting close to me, he's like, okay, I'm going to watch every single one of you person. You've got my back. I'm like, no, I actually don't have your back. Go away.
So in the approach, probably don't really ignore and don't talk.
Yep, no touch, no talk, no eye contact. It is from Cesar Milan. Like I said, some things I really like that he does. Some things I totally go against. That one I did correct on him and I pulled him back because that was more of a quick lunge. Evidently she's too close to him. She's leaning over too much, that's too relaxed. It's good to be relaxed. And honestly, don't feel bad. This is hard stuff to get used to because it goes against human nature. And it goes against what we do with our own dogs personally. The more you start working with dogs in a natural way, in a training way, the easier it is. When I walk into someone's house that has a dog, I don't touch it, I don't talk, I don't make eye contact. People think I'm rude. They're like, I thought you were a dog trainer. You're supposed to like dogs. I'm like, I do. Your dog loves me. Let's leave it at that. And sure enough, their dog does. Because I didn't care. I didn't pay attention. Kind of like a kid in a candy store. If you get that sucker every single time, they don't care. They want this one that they never get. So if I'm not giving him attention, he doesn't care.
He seems like he wants to be snuggled and loved?
He does, and we're not gonna play that.
Okay.
Right now, he does want my attention. He's like, hey, I'm stressing, get me out of here. I'm his hope to get out of here right now, and I'm like, no. You don't get to rely on me for that kind of stuff. Leave it at that. Again, the chance of him biting me if I go again over, there's still that nipping. And that, I'm guessing someone was probably not super nice to him with going over his head, because that's more of a learned dominant response. And then this is not playing, this is not snuggling, this is I'm going to be dominant, which is good that he's in this position. It's really hard to get out of when you have a dog like this, because how am I going to get up? I can't get him off because my arm only goes so far. I can't get up because I can't lean over him. Takes a little bit of agility. I'm going to lean one forward up. Again, hand always over his head. Move him away from me and then slowly get up, but always move him first. And the more uncomfortable you make that leash, which is why you want to use slip leashes, the better off you're going to be. Same with like if you've noticed when I get up, we could be a loose leash, that's fine. I get up, hand goes tight. Because I'm leaning forward, I'm being dominant. I don't know if he's going to read it wrong or not. He could. I'd rather be safe than sorry, though. Any questions on his behavior or how he reacts? Another thing with him, it is pure breed. Spitzes are snappy, automatically. They are snappy, they are cocky, they're confident. That's their nature, which is, again, we can only change so much with him before we've got to build up on him. With him, too, I would do a lot of stepping into him, moving him out of my way. You move out of my way. You move out of my way. This is my space. You move out of my way. I would never walk around this dog. I would never give him his space unless he's going to mark on me. That's when I would be like, hey. Rasta is a completely different story. I do a lot of giving him his space. This dog, I'm going to walk into him and kind of push him out of the way and be like, you move out of my way. That's what we're doing. Any questions with him?
When he was trying to jump up on you, was that dominance?
Yep.
It wasn't, I want to play?
No.
See, most of us would think you want to play.
Yep, this dog doesn't want to play with me. We can understand each other. We have an understanding with each other. So he was okay laying up against me. He doesn't want to play with me. If I were to start playing with him, it's probably not going to end well because he doesn't want to. Okay, do you want to go back with me? We'll switch him. We'll probably bring Damien out.
Okay, yep. I have a question.
Yeah.
How do we, since he is, this is shelter life, so how do we allow him to exercise then?
To exercise, I would
Without
keep a leash
playing.
on him.
And
And throw
just do
balls.
walk?
Use something else. Walking is great.
Okay,
It's a bonding thing. It's going to suck for you guys because you have to walk him a lot.
okay.
Walking would be really, really, really good.
Okay.
But with playing, if I start pouncing at him,
Right.
that's super dominant. He's like, okay, now I just took 10 steps back because I pounced at him. He's like, why are you doing that?
How about when, would he be a dog you could let loose in one of the play areas?
If you didn't play with him a whole lot, I would be super insignificant. Do that after you've built a bond.
Right.
If you are sitting over here and he doesn't come up to you, I wouldn't let him loose. Because the chance of you being able to get him without him freaking out on you is going to be very, very slow.
Right.
Like right now, I would not let this dog off leash.
Yeah.
I would let him loose and just drop the leash. I would get like an old cheap leash, so if he does mark on it or something like that, it can just be wiped or whatever. But if I take him off the leash, I'm going to have to be inappropriate to him to get him back on the leash.
So there's some dogs that would be better off just walking them instead of letting them in that.
At first,
free-for-all
yes, you
thing.
want to build up
Yeah.
a bond first. Like I said, him and I are on a great start with the bond. Again, this whole I'm going to lean on you kind of thing. It's a great bonding start. We are not anywhere near there yet. I know, I'm sorry.
Well, we let him, like when we clean that room, we let him out with the lead on him. And then usually you can just kneel down and be like, hey, come on, buddy. And then he's like, okay, and you get it close enough and you grab his lead and then.
Yep, I would leave a leash on him 24/7 right now.
Yeah.
Just because you don't want to be inappropriate and have to corner him and slip it over. Because the chance of you having to do that is pretty high with him. Okay, we're going to switch him out and get Damien out. So step on your leash.